Chief Keef, Lil Reese, all of right how niggas pull up to New Jersey now.
Looks like all that trash talk is catching up to 6ix9ine. His girlfriend just got popped in New York, and now shocking footage is circulating that links Chief Keef to her murder. Fans are saying it's payback for their long-running feud, and the whole situation is spiraling to a new level. Let me break it down. The explosive video that changed everything. Let's not waste a single second sugarcoating this, because the footage that just leaked online doesn't need dressing up. It doesn't need sensationalizing. It's already the most explosive, the most disturbing, and frankly the most unbelievable video clip hip-hop has ever seen. According to viral reports, footage has surfaced that appears to show Chief Keef, the Chicago drill legend himself, pulling the trigger in the death of none other than Tekashi 6ix9ine's girlfriend. This isn't some tabloid rumor. This isn't just another one of 6ix9ine's trolling stunts for clout. We're talking about a piece of video that has sent the entire internet spiraling into chaos, with fans dissecting every second, every pixel, every frame, claiming this is the smoking gun that proves Chief Keef finally snapped. The circumstances leading to this clip line up almost too perfectly with the years of beef, disrespect, and escalating threats between Keef and 6ix9ine. How did we go from goofy rainbow-haired internet troll to a feud so poisonous, so life and death serious, that the girlfriend of one of rap's most controversial figures ends up in the crosshairs? The beef between Tekashi 6ix9ine and Chief Keef wasn't just music. It was blood deep, it was personal, and it was always teetering on the razor's edge of violence. When 6ix9ine first started barking at Keef's camp, this wasn't just rap sparring. He went after Sosa's family. He straight up disrespected his mother in ways that most Chicago rappers would never let slide. As Everyday Struggle covered at the time, even the hosts were stunned.
He said, Chief Keef's mom could suck my with his mother lips. Like, this getting a little bit out of hand.
It was reckless, it was dangerous, it was begging for retaliation, and everybody in the culture knew it. The retaliation came in gunshots fired on music video sets, threats on Instagram Live, and rumors of ambushes in New York. At one point, reports even claimed Keef himself had been targeted in a drive-by just hours after touching down in the city, forcing him to flee straight back to Los Angeles. This wasn't industry beef anymore. This was warfare playing out in real time, with every fan refreshing their feed, waiting to see who would make it out alive. And 6ix9ine wasn't backing down. He was pouring gasoline on the fire, laughing off near-death situations, trolling the headlines, even going so far as to mock his own potential death.
He quickly took to IG to shoot down the rumors and have some laughs, asking people what song he should play at his funeral.
That's not bravery, that's recklessness. That's the arrogance of a man who thinks consequences can't touch him. For years, Chief Keef was painted as the villain of this story, the cold-blooded drill rapper who influenced a generation of shooters, the menace from Chicago who could never leave the streets behind. Meanwhile, 6ix9ine played the role of colorful court jester, the troll who wasn't to be taken seriously. But if this leaked video is authentic, then the narrative flips completely. Suddenly, Sosa isn't just the boogeyman of drill. He becomes the executioner of the culture's biggest clown. This isn't just about a feud between two rappers. This is about the blurred line between performance and reality in hip-hop. When does trolling stop being entertainment and start becoming a death wish? And when does defending your name, your set, your family turn into a life sentence? Already, voices inside the industry had been warning that this exact scenario was inevitable. During that same Everyday Struggle segment, DJ Academics himself spelled it out in chilling detail.
I'm just saying that he plays a very, and I said this before, he plays a very, very dangerous game with how he's treating. And eventually, all it takes is one person.
6ix9ine didn't just troll Chief Keef. He taunted the entire Chicago drill movement. He mocked gang ties. He dared people to do something. In doing so, he basically painted a target on not just himself, but everyone around him, including the woman who, according to reports, may now be dead because of it. As Wayno warned on that same panel,
it's not gonna be a rapper, like no rapper is gonna, we're not gonna hear about some famous rapper shooting 6ix9ine or doing something to 6ix9ine. It's gonna be somebody that just wants to make a name for themselves.
The leaked clip begins on a dimly lit street corner, grainy, shaky, the kind of footage that feels ripped from a bystander's phone. A blurred figure, hoodie pulled tight, can be seen stepping out from behind a car. Seconds later, shots ring out. The scream that follows isn't the kind of sound you fake. It's raw, it's guttural, it's unmistakably real. Then comes the part that sent Reddit detectives into overdrive, the shooter's stance. That hunched forward lean, the way the arm extends, the distinctive dreadlocks falling out of the hood, fans freeze-framed, enhanced, compared with old photos. The overwhelming conclusion? That's Sosa. For someone like Keef, street cred isn't just branding, it's the backbone of his entire identity. To lose that, to be mocked as irrelevant by a rainbow-haired troll from Brooklyn, was humiliation on a global stage. The statement made when this video drops isn't just an act of revenge, it's a reassertion of power. A reminder to the world that Chief Keef isn't just a relic of drill history. He's still dangerous, still untouchable, still willing to go further than anyone else. close. The target wasn't 6ix9ine himself. It was his girlfriend. That choice wasn't random. That choice was strategic, because nothing cuts deeper than taking away the thing someone loves. Nothing sends a message louder than proving you can touch what's closest to them. This wasn't about ending 6ix9ine. This was about breaking him. The web of conspiracy theories. The footage alone would have been enough to set the culture on fire, but what came after turned this story from a tragedy into a full-blown conspiracy thriller. Within hours of the video leaking, the internet was flooded with theories, wild claims, and half-baked connections.
And what I'm seeing in the comments is where people were saying that it got something to do with 6ix9ine. How can you automatically just say that?
Yet when you line them up side by side, the picture that emerges is more chilling than anything we've seen before. The most obvious question was 6ix9ine's girlfriend really the intended target? To many fans, the answer is no. They believe she was collateral damage, a pawn caught in the middle of a larger chess game between Tekashi and Chief Keef. Reddit threads exploded with users pointing out how the shooting seemed too clean, too precise, almost like someone knew exactly where to be and when to strike. Some argued the girlfriend wasn't the one they came for. She was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Others weren't buying it. They argued that the girlfriend was always the target, that Keef, or whoever was behind that gun, deliberately went after her to hurt 6ix9ine in the cruelest way possible, because she was his shield, his Achilles heel. As one conspiracy video put it, if you can't get the clown, you take away the laughter. Then there's the theory that suggests the shooter wasn't Chief Keef at all. Frame by frame, analysts picked apart the leaked clip. Some swore the silhouette didn't match Keef's build. Others pointed to inconsistencies in the stride, the arm length, even the gun itself. Could it have been a look-alike, a hired gun dressed to resemble him? Think about the implications. If someone staged this to look like Chief Keef, the motive shifts completely. Suddenly, it's not about revenge. It's about destroying Keef's image, pinning a murder on him, and sparking a war that would consume both camps. Almost immediately, whispers started linking the hit to other enemies of 6ix9ine, rivals from New York, gangs from Chicago, even industry figures who might have wanted Tekashi's silence before his antics dragged everyone down. This wasn't just a feud between two rappers. This was a powder keg of alliances, betrayals, and business deals hanging in the balance. Tekashi's trolling wasn't just disrespectful, it was costly. Every time he mocked someone, he jeopardized tours, collabs, sponsorships. He turned relationships into liabilities. Then comes the darkest theory of all. What if this was all orchestrated by 6ix9ine himself? This is the same man who once trolled his own kidnapping story, who blurred the line between reality and promo so many times nobody knew where the truth ended. The theory goes like this. Tekashi knew his buzz was fading. He knew his enemies were circling, so he faked the ultimate proof of his danger, the murder of his girlfriend, pinning it on his biggest rival to guarantee headlines for weeks. The flaw in that theory is obvious. Why risk the life of someone close to him? But conspiracy theorists argue that with enough money, with enough smoke and mirrors, anything can be faked. Blood squibs, crisis actors, shaky cell phone footage, yet the rawness of that scream, the very real panic captured in the clip, makes it hard to believe this was just another stunt. A second clip surfaced, shorter, blurrier, and infinitely more disturbing. Unlike the first video, which showed the shooting itself, this follow-up appeared to capture the moments after. A figure believed to be Chief Keef walking away from the scene, tossing something metallic onto the ground. Freeze-framed and enhanced by amateur detectives online, the object looked suspiciously like a pendant. Not just any pendant, a chain resembling one of the Glory Boys entertainment pieces Keef's crew has been seen rocking for years. Was this a signature, a calling card, a deliberate piece of evidence left behind to cement authorship, or was it a plant, a setup designed to make Sosa look guilty while someone else reaped the chaos? Some began pointing fingers at the industry itself. The theory? 6ix9ine had become too volatile, too dangerous, too uncontrollable. His antics weren't just making headlines, they were making enemies in law enforcement, in boardrooms, in corporations who wanted nothing to do with a rapper constantly linked to shootings, kidnappings, and gang wars. What better way to kill two birds with one stone than to stage a tragedy that eliminates his leverage and tarnishes Chief Keef at the same time? With 6ix9ine destabilized, he's easier to control. With Keef branded as a murderer, his influence over a new generation of rappers collapses. The machine doesn't care about truth, it cares about stability. The most chilling possibility that maybe the girlfriend herself wasn't just a victim, that maybe she knew too much, knew things Tekashi was keeping from the world, knew secrets about money, about deals, about betrayals that powerful people wanted buried. If that's true, her death wasn't just a message to Tekashi, it was a cleanup job. But whether you believe she was collateral damage, a deliberate target, or something far more complicated, the fact remains, the video exists, it's out there, and it shows somebody pulling the trigger. Why haven't the authorities made a definitive statement? Why hasn't anyone been arrested? Why are we left with silence, speculation, and paranoia instead of answers? Some say it's because the evidence is inconclusive. Others believe law enforcement doesn't want to solve this because exposing the the truth would drag too many names, too many organizations, too many dirty deals into the light. When the truth threatens power, the truth gets buried. The aftermath and cultural reckoning. The leaked footage was shocking, the conspiracies were chilling, but the aftermath has people wondering if hip-hop has finally crossed a line it can never walk back from. Once the smoke cleared and the theories started settling, a harsher reality set in. This wasn't just about one shooting, it was about the long, tangled web of beefs, affiliations, and grudges that have been simmering for years. And in that web, 6ix9ine's girlfriend was more than just a bystander. She was a target. Tekashi didn't just have enemies, he had armies of them. From Chicago to New York to Los Angeles, his name was poisoned. His constant trolling, his courtroom testimony, his mockery of dead rivals, it painted a bullseye on his entire existence. When you paint a bullseye on yourself, the people closest to you end up standing in the same line of fire. Take the Chicago drill scene. 6ix9ine thought it was funny to mock fallen legends like Lil Jojo, to call out Chief Keef, Lil Reese, and the old block lineage. To him, it was internet banter. To them, it was life and death. You don't play with names carved into tombstones. You don't laugh at wounds that are still bleeding.
Now the beef between the two rappers, it dates back to Keef's feature on Trippie Redd's song, I Kill People. He fired back, questioning if Keef's street cred is still intact.
In New York, Tekashi's ties to the 9 Trey Bloods imploded in spectacular fashion. Court testimony revealed betrayal after betrayal, with Tekashi snitching on the very people he once flaunted as protection. To them, Tekashi wasn't family, he was a paycheck. When the money dried up, when the heat got too intense, loyalty evaporated. In the weeks leading up to the leaked footage, he was seen back on Instagram, running his mouth, taunting rivals, acting like the same old rainbow-haired troll who thought he was untouchable. But the difference in 2025, back in 2018, he still had protection. Back then, he had an army of gang members willing to ride for him because the money was flowing. Now the money's thinner, the loyalty's gone. Every threat he ever made, every bridge he ever burned, is now hanging over his head with no shield to stop it. And who suffers first? Not Tekashi himself, because everyone knows he's heavily guarded. It's the people closest to him, the ones without a security team, the ones easy to find, easy to reach, easy to hurt. In the streets, when you can't touch the king, you go after the queen. For years, the industry painted Chief Keef as a villain. The media labeled him the poster boy for drill violence. Politicians blamed him for Chicago's murder rate. Yet when Tekashi mocked him, when Tekashi taunted him, the same industry laughed. They gave 6ix9ine interviews. They gave him radio play. They put him on festival stages. They enabled him. They fueled the fire. Now that blood has been spilled, everyone wants to play dumb. Where's the accountability from the labels, from the platforms that turned 6ix9ine's trolling into profit, from the commentators who egged him on, knowing the danger? Silence. Radio silence. Because no one wants to admit they played a role in turning a circus act into a death sentence. Chief Keef didn't go into hiding after the footage surfaced. He didn't release a statement. He didn't deny or confirm anything. Instead, he did what he's always done. He loud-mouthed. It started subtly. A random Instagram story. A blurry photo of a gun on a table with the caption, "Ain't nobody safe." No names, no locations. But everyone knew what he was implying. Hours later, another post. This time, a clip of him in the studio, casually rapping over a beat, spitting bars that fans swear lined up with the very footage that just went viral. Then came the most disturbing flex of all. Keef was spotted in Los Angeles, laughing with friends, rocking a chain that looked eerily similar to the one tossed in the video. No words, no captions, just a smirk that says, "Yeah, I know what you saw, and I don't care." This wasn't new behavior. After his rival Lil Jojo was murdered in 2012, Keef infamously tweeted, "It's sad cuz that Lil and wanted to be just like us, #Elmau." The tweet was later deleted, but the message was clear. Keef had a habit of mocking tragedy instead of mourning it. In 2018, after 6ix9ine himself survived a shooting in New York, Keef didn't rush to deny involvement. Instead, he went on social media looking unbothered, flashing smiles and letting fans draw their own conclusions. Now, in 2025, history was repeating itself. A young woman's death wasn't met with silence or remorse. It was met with cryptic captions, subliminal shots, and an attitude that dared anyone to challenge him. That loud mouthing did exactly what Keef wanted it to do. It kept him trending. It kept fans talking. It kept the narrative alive that Chief Keef is still untouchable, still dangerous, still the same kid from 63rd who turned drill into a movement. Every post, every caption, every subliminal bar doesn't just live on Instagram. It ricochets through the culture, fueling paranoia, sparking retaliation, keeping the cycle of violence alive. The more Keef mouths off, the more 6ix9ine is forced into a corner. For someone who built his career off trolling, being out-trolled by his biggest rival is the ultimate humiliation. Insiders claim Tekashi is furious, screaming at his team, plotting his next move, desperate to claw back control of the narrative. But he can't win this game anymore, not when his enemy has turned silence into strength. trolling into terror. Keef doesn't even need to confess. He doesn't need to prove anything, because the court of public opinion already decided he did it, and every loudmouth post only makes that perception stronger. Is this Keef's real revenge? Not just taking away Tekashi's girlfriend, but taking away his voice, making the self-proclaimed king of trolls irrelevant in the only arena he ever dominated, the internet? If so, it's working. While the footage may have started the fire, it's Keef's loud mouthing that's keeping it alive. With every cryptic flex, every sly smirk, every unsubtle caption, he's writing a new chapter in hip-hop beefs, one where the line between digital warfare and real-life tragedy no longer exists. This isn't just about two rappers trading shots online and off. This is about a culture that rewards loud mouths over quiet truth, violence over peace, chaos over clarity. A culture where every post feels like a bullet and every bullet feels like a post. If Chief Keef has truly mastered that cycle, then Tekashi isn't just fighting for revenge. He's fighting for relevance. And judging by the way this story has unfolded, it might already be too late. What makes this case truly unprecedented isn't just the alleged violence or the conspiracy theories swirling around it. It's the complete silence from law enforcement agencies that should have been all over this by now. In an era where social media posts become evidence and digital footprints lead to arrests within hours, the deafening quiet from police departments across multiple jurisdictions raises more questions than the leaked footage itself. Think about it. We have what appears to be clear video evidence of a homicide, complete with facial recognition possibilities, location data, and a chain of digital breadcrumbs that should make this an open and shut case. Yet weeks have passed with no arrests, no press conferences, no official statements from Chicago PD, NYPD, or LAPD. The silence is so complete, it's almost coordinated. This pattern becomes even more suspicious when you consider how quickly law enforcement typically moves on high-profile rap cases. When XXXTentacion was murdered, arrests came within months. When Pop Smoke was killed, suspects were identified rapidly. When Nipsey Hussle was shot, the perpetrator was in custody within days. But a case involving two of hip-hop's most controversial figures, radio silence. Some investigators believe the silence stems from jurisdictional confusion. The shooting allegedly occurred in one city, while the primary suspect resides in another, and the victim had ties to a third. Federal agencies like the FBI, which typically coordinate multi-state investigations involving public figures, have made no public acknowledgement that they're even aware of the case. But there's another theory gaining traction among legal experts, that law enforcement is deliberately staying quiet because the case involves classified surveillance methods. In recent years, federal agencies have used sophisticated digital tracking to monitor high-profile rappers, particularly those with documented gang affiliations. Court documents from 6ix9ine's own federal case revealed extensive wiretapping and social media monitoring of his associates. If the leaked footage came from federal surveillance, either directly or through parallel construction, authorities might be reluctant to pursue charges that would expose their methods in court. The technique of parallel construction allows agencies to use classified intelligence to guide investigations, then build cases using only publicly obtainable evidence. But when the only evidence is the classified surveillance itself, they face an impossible choice: reveal state secrets or let the case go cold. This theory gains credibility when you examine the technical quality of the leaked footage. Despite being labeled as bystander video, digital forensics experts have noted several anomalies. The image stabilization appears too sophisticated for a handheld phone. The audio quality suggests professional-grade recording equipment. Most tellingly, the metadata, the digital fingerprints that reveal when, where, and how a video was created, has been completely scrubbed. Professional metadata removal isn't something the average citizen knows how to do. It requires specialized software and technical expertise typically associated with intelligence agencies or high-end private security firms. The fact that someone took the time to clean the video's digital trail suggests they either wanted to protect the source or were following operational security protocols. Meanwhile, the hip-hop community's response has been equally puzzling. Typically, when violence erupts between major artists, industry voices rush to call for peace, unity, and de-escalation. Record labels release statements. Management companies issue cease and desist orders. Concert venues beef up security or cancel shows entirely. None of that has happened here. Major labels that represent artists connected to both Chief Keef and 6ix9ine have remained conspicuously silent. Industry publications that usually feast on controversy have published only the most basic coverage. Even gossip blogs known for sensationalizing everything have approached this story with unusual restraint.
Everything, man. Everything.
How you feeling this morning?
Feeling real good. I'm tired of shit.
This collective silence suggests that industry insiders know something the public doesn't, whether it's advance warning from law enforcement, legal threats from powerful attorneys, or simply the recognition that this story is too dangerous to touch. The coordinated quiet is almost as telling as the footage itself. the most. Disturbing possibility is that this silence represents a new phase in how violent crimes involving celebrities are handled. In an age where every controversy becomes content and every tragedy becomes a trend, perhaps there are cases deemed too sensitive for public consumption. Cases where the potential for copycat violence, civil unrest, or international embarrassment outweighs the public's right to know. If that's true, then what we're witnessing isn't just the aftermath of a shooting, it's the birth of a shadow justice system where certain crimes are handled quietly, away from cameras and courtrooms, with outcomes determined by classified considerations rather than public accountability. This interpretation would explain why Chief Keef continues to move freely, posting cryptic content and making public appearances without fear of arrest. It would explain why 6ix9ine has seemingly vanished from social media despite his usual attention-seeking behavior. And it would explain why two of hip-hop's most inflammatory figures have both gone surprisingly quiet at the exact moment when their feud should have reached its most explosive climax. The implications extend far beyond this single case. If law enforcement agencies are selectively choosing which celebrity crimes to prosecute based on classified criteria, what does that mean for justice? If the music industry is coordinating silence around certain stories, what does that mean for free press? And if surveillance footage can be leaked and scrubbed to serve unknown agendas, what does that mean for truth itself? These questions won't be answered by analyzing blurry video frames or connecting social media dots. They require transparency from institutions that seem determined to operate in shadows. Until that transparency comes, if it ever does, the leaked footage will remain what it's always been. Not evidence of what happened, but proof of how little we're allowed to know about what really happens when celebrities cross lines that others have drawn in secret. The silence isn't protecting anyone involved in this alleged crime. It's protecting a system that has decided some truths are too dangerous for democracy. Thanks for watching. Check out other cards on the screen.